Do I look amazing?
Yeah, you look perfect.
Are you recording all of this?
I am.
Or is
I'm
there...
only gonna I'm not gonna cut out me complimenting you or me talking about myself. I'm just gonna leave in you talking about, do I look perfect? How do I look amazing? How do I look? Am I ready for my close up?
Cover girl.
Easy breezy
Um,
beautiful.
yeah.
Well, welcome back. Let's dive right into it. We're here talking about the interview that you did with Ruta Stacionet. I'm really trying so hard to pronounce her name right. I was listening to it and I'm like, Stacionete, Stacionete. But
You
I
practiced for like hours and hours, didn't
that's
you? Didn't you?
what I do instead of prepping for the actual conversation is just practicing how to pronounce people's names. So it's me in a mirror, like Ruta Stacionet, Ruta Stacione. She's gonna listen to this and be like,
Uh,
"That's not it at all. You're
she
so
gave
wrong."
she gave
But
me like, wow, you're nice, but you dumb.
well, yeah, Ruta, I hope you can get how hard I'm trying at least, and that the thought is there and very passionate.
Well, Ruth is adorable. She'll be so sweet and forgiving of you,
She's
even though
very,
you...
very sweet. And I was thinking the whole time I was like editing and working in it was like, you guys really do have a similar mindset, hey? Like, do you feel like you met someone who's kind of on the same wavelength as you?
Well, that was kind of nice. I mean, we said that when we were talking, like how nice it is to meet somebody because we live in a funny world where a lot of people are at different places. So when you connect with somebody who's kind of talking you're always like, I think Ruda and I would both agree that you're always kind of guiding your conversation, the level that you're going to go to the place where
Mm.
other people are, where you feel like they can go to.
Hmm.
And so with Ruda and I, we're both like, well, nothing's off limit because we can just talk because we both are of the same mindset about how the world is, right? So that was super refreshing. So she and I have a real connection that way.
Hmm. And it's cool because I mean, I think I know you pretty well. Only known you my whole life. And I think that your thinking and your mindset can go pretty far beyond what a lot of people are capable of kind of going to, just in terms of like expansiveness and spirituality and
Mm.
philosophy and stuff like that. And to be able to find somebody that can operate on a similar level is pretty special, pretty unique. And yeah, and she's such a lovely, lovely person and she's so sweet.
Oh, she's so sweet. She's so
Mm.
sweet. But yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting because again, we do live in a very funny world with different people at all different kind of stages. So it's there's so many interesting conversations that are going on in the world, and I think the conversations that Ruda is having with people is really, really helping to guide them to a step up, to
Mm.
step up a little bit, to broaden their own understanding a little bit more. Just like, and I'm doing the same thing, obviously, but this is not about me. This is about Ruda, and I think she's really doing amazing work in the world because of that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I think she has the qualities of a really, really good coach in that um, I think she's a very gentle kind of presence. And she makes you feel really safe and comfortable, but she's also her yeah, her scope just goes so much further than kind of the average person does. So
Mm,
it doesn't put a cap on what you're capable of when you're working with her. Like using Ruta as a coach and stuff like that. Sometimes when you have a coach or a life coach or a mentor or whatever, who there's a ceiling on what they think is possible,
mm,
you're never gonna get that far. But if there's no ceiling to what your coach thinks is possible for you, you're gonna go all the way. Like
mm,
there's no cap on what you can do together. And I think that's one of the things that was so interesting about her to me. And like she's pretty young and cool and hip. She's like an Instagram person and like yeah, she's just so cool, but she's also um so wise and
mm.
so yeah, she's just her thinking is very yeah, capless. It's endless. It's cool.
Hmm. Well, I think she's a very smart person with with a background, a corporate background, and so she's a very smart person who has the ability to step back and see things from a not so much an intellectual perspective, but also an emotional and a spiritual perspective. So that's pretty rare, I think, in a lot of people. You know, to like she's the full package. I mean, she's sweet, she's pretty, she's nice, she's smart, but she also has that ability to see the world through that lens and then express it to her clients, right?
Mhm. We talked about this a bit with Jefferson, but I think I really love talking to and, like, listening to interviews that you've done with people that come from corporate backgrounds and integrate all of those learnings into, like, mental health and personal betterment, because I think the way that they are kind of trained to operate, seeing that transformed into social good as opposed to just like financial good is so interesting. And they're always so like smart and quick and clever because you're able to look at a problem with the same kind of snappiness that you would in a corporate world and actually convert all of that snappy energy, like, "Oh, we gotta make big bucks and we gotta make it happen. We gotta da 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 da." You can convert that energy into actually helping people and actually making good things happen, and I think that is really interesting. It's a pretty cool yeah, I just think they're really interesting people to watch because it's not you don't usually see that shift from corporate to social good, so it's
Mm.
cool. I like that about her. I think it's neat.
Yeah, I like that too, and I think it happens probably a lot. I mean, we only have our perspective of what's like where people are at is only what it is, right? We only
Mhm,
see
true.
so many people, but yeah, it's super interesting. It's such a again, it's so interesting to watch as we evolve as a world community and people are starting to awaken how different people are going to be sharing the different like wisdom in ways that is going to appeal to this is she's going to appeal to a whole nother set of or type of person than I will that then I will appeal to and as you or as anybody else we all are going to have our little niches of people that we're going to resonate with. So I think she fills a very very important role in the people that she's going to reach, just as we all do, right? But
Yeah, that's very true, and all of these people that are kind of filling the same not filling the same niche, but that are reaching these people from different angles. It's like behind the scenes, you're all kind of on the same wavelength, right? Even though you're so
yeah,
different. It's very cool.
well, it's so funny because again, this is really about Ruta, but I remember years ago, me and another guy, he was like 65 or 66, and I was only about 31 at the time, but it was the same kind of click. So it's kind of, I
Mm,
think Ruta's 31 too now. So
okay.
it's kind of, well, I mean, I'm 51, but it was kind of the same thing, a big age difference, but almost right away, it's like, we're to get we understand each other, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And
Yeah,
it's kind
yeah,
of
we
cool,
get it.
right? Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
Did you have a favorite part of your conversation with Ruta?
um I'm not sure I had a favorite other than that kind of just that moment with where we were just like just going back and forth about that realization of like, you're my peeps.
Mhm.
What about
Yeah.
you? Did you have a favorite?
I think my favorite was the one that I put in the clip, like the teaser clip. There were a lot of good moments, and I think like I just like your guys' dynamic together. I think it's very, like I said, I think it's really nice to see two people who think the same way kind of come together and just have a conversation. That was pretty cool. But I think the clip was the moment where she was saying, like, you never know when something you do or say is going to change someone's life or like
Mm,
affect them. And it's true. You never know. There's a quote in a book, I think, that I read long time ago that kind of suggests would this person be different if they had read the right book at the right time or
mm,
heard the right quote at the right time. You never know what thing is going to change someone completely, and everything you do is always kind of as much as it's your own private life, it can change someone, and you just don't know. You don't know if someone's
Mhm.
gonna walk away from an experience with you better, worse, just different.
It's true, but I would, I mean, I love that too. I love what she was saying about that too, but I would kind of um add that you do it all the time. You do it all the time with people, right? You're
Mm,
always but they don't really, it's like the butterfly effect, right?
yeah, true.
You know, you're always affecting people, but it's like you probably will never see the ways in which you affected them.
Mm,
But this is a computer, right? And all that information is stored up there. So you are affecting people, right? But it's like how deeply, how profoundly, how obvious is it? But anyways, I don't want to go down a whole different tangent here. Like,
actually,
sorry,
she
I
was
would
wrong completely, and me with my
no,
1 semester of
no,
sociology.
I
Here's what I
wasn't
have to
saying
say about human behavior.
I wasn't saying she was wrong. I was saying I 100% agree with her, but
And
I also think people just generally don't realize how much they're affecting people. Like, you know, when you're saying, "Hey, get out of the way, you dick," you know, like you're affecting them, you know, or like, "Oh man, you know, don't worry about it, you go first." You're affecting them. There's a butterfly effect to all of that.
mhm. Yeah, it's so
But
funny, like, even just I mean, for those of you that don't know this about me, I take public transit, and it's so funny how, like, seeing somebody at a bus stop who's using a walker or who has, or who I always let older people go first, and so it's so funny how you doing that for somebody else can change your day. You're like, "Oh, please go first." They're like, "Oh, thank you," and you're like, "Oh,
mm,
me? Stop. Oh my gosh, Shirley, stop it." Or you can be, sitting there and your feet hurt and da 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 da, and like the kids and the skateboards come up and they kind of push their way onto the bus first, and you're like, "Oh, kids today." Like every little thing changes like well, it doesn't have to, but it can affect you and it can make you feel some type of way if you let it. Now, you don't have to let it, but
mhm,
the actions of other people do have the ability to completely change your day so that when you get home, now you're already in a bad mood because
mhm.
some kids like looked at you funny on the bus and your bus ride was cold and you're cranky and la 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 la. Or you can use the steps that we outline in our How Healing Happens program to ensure that these things don't take you below the happiness line.
Well, that nice, nice. And I was gonna say, I mean, that's really, I think, Ruda's work in the world is trying to help people to understand that again, like, you know, the world, all this stuff is gonna happen in the world, but you have to take control. You have to find a way to take control so that you're the one that's guiding. You're not being guided, you're guiding the situation with your how you process things and how you think about things so people like, I mean, yes, we do that, but Ruda, that's Ruda's work also, right? People like Ruda.
Mhm.
So it's again, it's helping people to understand that the world is going to happen, but you have a choice about how you're going to be influenced by it, right?
Mhm. Yeah, at one point she said, and I don't remember the full context of this quote, but she was talking about her work and, how things changed with COVID. And she was like,
Hmm.
she said something like, aside from the obvious horrible part of it, it was great. It was awesome because everybody's online. So
Hmm.
like your
Hmm.
reach is tripled. I mean, your reach is in theory suddenly endless. Whereas before, yes, people were marketing online. Yes, people were meeting online, but nowhere near the scope that they were. Nowhere, I mean,
Hmm.
podcasts were recorded face to face always.
Hmm.
And so if you were in Mexico, you and I wouldn't be recording podcasts. We'd be taking a break off. Whereas
Hmm.
now, more and more people are using Zoom, more and more people are working from home, conducting their business online. It's changing family dynamics. And you've talked about this tons before, how, every horrible thing that happens has good parts. It has, it changes society and you can look at it as the things that are good or you can only focus on the bad things.
There's opportunities in everything. Like all
Mhm.
of life is like that. Doesn't matter what it is. There's opportunities in everything. Even the most tragic circumstances, there's
Mhm.
opportunity and the real skill of being I believe one of the real skills of being a fully a fully functioning human being is to be able to see that okay, well, how does this situation allow me and society and my people I care about in the world to move forward? And that's but again, that's what people like Ruda and people who are kind of thinking on a little bit broader perspective than just like, well, I gotta go to work and I gotta put in my 8 hours and I gotta, go do this and I gotta do that. And like thinking a little bit outside of the box. I think people like, yeah, I mean, that's what we need. We need people guiding the rest of the world and society, and so I'm gonna keep coming back to the
Ruda, Ruda, Ruda. It's like
Ruda.
instead of being the root of our problems, she's the ruta of our solutions. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
that should have been the title of the episode. The
oh,
ruta of our
the
solutions.
Ruta of our solutions.
Oh
Oh
my
my God, that
gosh.
would have been the best.
Dang it.
Dang it.
That's it. I'm firing myself. This is my last day.
Well, don't worry. If you should show up tomorrow, I'll fire
Okay, good. If I show
you.
up at my house where I work, as soon as you get out of bed, you're out of there. You're fired, chief.
I like I like how a second ago you're like, oh, poor me. I commute, which is totally your choice
Yeah.
to use that. But like where? I mean, you work from home, you live basically across from the beach. The shopping center is like literally a block away from you.
I wasn't
Like,
lamenting about taking public transit. I was lamenting about kids today and the disrespect for their elders. That's what I was lamenting about. Don't get it twisted. I
okay, I just want
I
to make
just
sure you're not lamented because you
no.
got a pretty sweet life there.
Yeah, I have a great life. I know. I was just talking about this with someone yesterday because I was at Derby and they were like, "Oh, you don't drive?" I'm like, "No, I choose not to drive. I'm fine with it." But again, no, I'm not lamenting public transit. I'm lamenting disrespectful youth, hooligans,
I
and
can't. I
thugs.
my goal is to live till I'm like 90, so I can see you when you're 70.
Yeah, if I'm
That's my goal.
already my brain is already 70. So what is my brain go
I know
my
that's
brain will
my.
be like those monks that just mummify themselves by eating sap and stuff. I'm just like my brain is curled up in the coffin
uh,
of my skull.
Absolutely. Well, that is my biggest goal is to live long enough to see you become a real old person, so you can be real rickety and God dang it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be one of those ones with the screen door, just always staring at the screen door at the kids.
Yeah.
It's good. This is
Uh,
gonna be an exact picture of me when I'm 80.
that's awesome. Uh,
Oh, well, thank you.
well,
Thank you for your time.
okay,
Get out of here.
thank you. Bye. Um,
Get the hell out.
well, yeah. I mean, do you have anything else to say about the root episode?
I don't think so. I mean, I thought it was my main points were just that I thought it was so amazing that you both kind of found a kindred spirit in each other. I think she's amazing. I definitely, if you are looking for the kind of guidance that Ruta can offer, I, of course, would definitely suggest that you check her out. All of her links should be below this video. If you're listening, it should be below the play button. So it should be all easy to find. But yeah, we love Ruta. We think she's amazing. And yeah, I hope we get to talk to her again because she was awesome.
Absolutely. Ruda, Ruda,
Ruta,
Ruda,
Ruta,
Ruda,
Ruta.
Ruda, Ruda.
Yay!
Yay!
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you, Dad. Thank you, listeners, for joining us.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Okay, get the hell out of here. Thank you all so much for joining us, as always. We love hearing from you, so if you have comments, questions about the episode, topics you want us to cover, or anything else, you can find us on Instagram as Loving Goliath, on Facebook as The Goliath Foundation. You can email us at lovinggoliath@gmail.com, or you can find out more information about the Goliath Foundation at thegoliathfoundation.com. Hey, did you know that 36% of our listeners tune in through Apple Podcasts? If that's you and you liked what you heard today, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Thank you again, and we'll catch you next time.